If I didn't have access to my usual gym facilities for whatever reason, and the only resistance I had was my own body weight with minimal kit, such as a pull-up bar, these would be the exercises I would choose. Later in this video, I'm going to show you how you can put these exercises into a simple program for effective gains. Starting with the upper body first, it would have to be the pull-up or chin-up. Either would build significant strength and size in the upper back. They can easily be progressed to doing pause reps or by doing tempo reps. They can also be progressed to plyo pull-ups. Most would struggle to hit sets of 5 doing this exercise. If you can't do a pull-up or a chin-up, these can easily be done assisted in the beginning, either using your legs or if you have access to a band. They can also be regressed to doing eccentrics only to build a foundation of strength. Failing that, the Australian pull-up would be another great option, which would be my second upper body pulling exercise of the program. The Australian pull-up is massively underrated for me and builds tremendous strength in the upper back. This would be my starting point for most trying to get their first pull-up and can easily be scaled to any level of ability, ultimately aiming to get your feet up on a bench or a box for reps. You can even do this single arm, which is savage. I can barely get 6 reps on this exercise. It can be done bent leg first before progressing to straight leg on all of the progressions. So the 2 exercises I would choose for the upper back would either be a chin up or a pull up, along with the Australian pull up. Moving into the lower body, the pistol squat would be my go-to exercise. However, most would probably be unable to perform this exercise. They can be easily scaled back to doing the single leg box squat. You can start as high as you need and then lower the height as your strength improves. Simple stuff. Training doesn't need to be overly complicated. Next, I found the skater squat a great exercise to target the glutes. They're a lot harder than they look, but they're easier than the pistol squat. Make sure it's a gentle touch on the ground with the back knee to make these as hard as possible. If you can't do these can easily be scaled back by reducing the range of motion, and then as you get stronger, try and get that back knee to the ground. Like I said, these are a lot harder than they look. Give them a try. Fire a comment below, let me know if you can do them. Next would be Nordics to hit the hamstrings. These are probably one of the hardest bodyweight exercises there is. They can be progressed doing partials first and then increasing the range of motion over time. If you have access to a band, then great, but not entirely necessary. Eccentrics or doing razors are another great way of scaling this exercise back if need be. Be creative with how you anchor your feet down. Sissy squats are a great exercise for developing the quads, in particular the VMO. As with most of these progressions, start with partials first and then increase the range of motion as you get stronger. I would suggest holding on to something to increase stability and make life easier. Finally, for the lower body, Copenhagens are a great exercise for the adductors. This long lever full range of motion Copenhagen would be a struggle for most and would offer a great stimulus. They can be scaled back to isometrics, either in the short or long lever positions easy enough. Core-wise, my go-to exercise would be the L hold. These can easily be progressed from the tuck position, then to straightening one leg at a time before finally straightening the legs out. These can be done between 2 chairs in the house, easy enough, and can be done anywhere. You can also take the L hold to the ground, which is absolutely savage. It took me a long period of time to be able to achieve this goal in my 40s. It's a truly humbling exercise. Moving into the upper body push movement, push-ups would be the most obvious. If you're super strong at these and you can do a ton of reps, these can easily be progressed to plyo push-ups, starting with pulses, moving into clap push-ups before starting to add some movement in. If you can't do a push-up, then the inverted push-up would be your starting point before working your way to the floor. Eccentrics would also be useful here to build strength. If you're struggling, you could do these on the knees as well. Pike push-ups are a great option, especially once you've become very strong at push-ups. They can be scaled to any level of ability, starting on the floor with partials, then head to the floor, and then if you have access to something like parallel bars, you can increase the range of motion. This process can then be repeated with feet elevated on a bench or a chair, starting with partials, moving to head to floor, and then increased range of motion. I'll put a link in the description below to this video. This also includes mobility drills for the upper back and hamstrings if you're interested. Finally, you can move on to handstand walk-ups against the wall. These are pretty damn tough done for reps. Make sure you stay strong throughout the shoulders and core. As you get stronger with these, you can progress to partial handstand push-ups before eventually moving to the floor. These are super hard. I'm still pathetic at these and I'm a long way from being a perfect demo. So for the upper body push exercises, it would be a push-up and the Pike push-up or handstand push-up. I would look to incorporate some jumping into the program for motor recruitment and to keep a high neural stimulus. These are also fun to do, provided your injury history allows. A combination of bilateral and unilateral jumps would work well here, ones that your movement competency allow. If you're able to sprint, I would look to incorporate this into your program too. As with jumping, they're great for motor recruitment. Nothing is more taxing on the central nervous system than sprinting. and they're also fun. Now, word of caution, if you're new to sprinting or you haven't sprinted in a long period of time, I would start off with shorter distances first, 5-10 meters, and then work your way out. This is just to allow your ligaments and tendons time to adapt to this high stimulus. Even once a week would be advantageous. Conditioning wise, you can incorporate some running or intervals into your training on days that you're not lifting. This is easy enough to do and doesn't require any facilities or access to kit. Now let's put all of this into a logical training program. This is how I'd split those exercises into a simple 2-day split. Use a simple double progression model for all of these exercises. So once you've achieved all sets across at the top end of your rep range, you then move on to the next progression. The reps would drop back down and then you would rinse and repeat the process. I've selected a rep range between 8 and 12 for this particular program, but you can adapt that to suit your needs and your level of strength. Intensity wise, keep it 1 to 3 reps from failure. In terms of your rest periods, try and keep this 2 to 3 minutes just to maintain your quality of movement. So take a screenshot for reference and buy yourself a logbook and get to work. If you'd like to see that Sissy squat progression or the Pike push-up progression, then click on one of these videos here. Thanks for watching.